Ever thought about some of the paradoxes of modern life? Hey guys, it's Martin Cliffe. Welcome to another Music, Minimalism and Mental Health. It's another scorching hot day here in Bucharest. I think this has been definitely the hottest of the 3 Augusts that we've been here, and I'm filming this still in the middle of August. It's 32, 33 degrees at the moment. But, you know, it's all good. It's all good. So what do I mean by paradoxes of modern life? Well, things that seem to be ubiquitous, that, you know, are everywhere, but just don't make sense. And I've got a list of a few of these, I think there's 7 or 8 that I'm going to touch on. I hope the audio's alright. Obviously I can't clip a microphone to my skin because that would hurt. So I'm just using a mic on my desk, but hopefully it's all good. So the first thing, unsurprisingly perhaps for this channel, that we might talk about is stuff. And our relationship with stuff is a paradox. Most of us know and appreciate, presumably particularly if you're watching this channel, that having less but better stuff is good. If you're a musician, having 35 cheap guitars is not as enjoyable as having 5 really nice guitars. That's true of so many different things. You know, cheap clothes don't last. And don't fit right, or, you know, cheap pans fall apart or burn and get damaged. It's worth buying quality stuff when you can afford it. But the paradox is that the more we get, the more we want. And then we buy stuff we don't like because we see other people have it, or we watch an influencer on Instagram or TikTok talking about it, or we see an advert and it just kind of triggers that thing in our mind. And then we feel guilty because we bought stuff that we don't want or don't like or don't need, and we hide it away. And it gets to the point where we have to hire extra storage space, or we can't park our cars in our garages anymore. Where does it end? Where does it end? It's really tough. Second paradox, sleepwear. PJs. Pretty much all research that I've ever read on it, and anyone who's tried it will also tell you it's better to sleep naked. Not trying to be controversial here, it just is. Your body regulates temperature better, you relax more, the air to your skin helps clean up skin infections and all that kind of stuff. And yet the sleepwear industry is worth millions of dollars. I appreciate that sometimes it can be difficult. You know, we lived for 6 years in a boarding school, and so we got into the habit of wearing sleepwear because it was kind of necessary, because the fire alarm used to go off quite often in the night. But it's not the best way. It's far better, unless you're really, really cold, to sleep unclad so that your body can relax without being constrained in any kind of way. And if you're cold, just get an extra blanket or turn the heating up. I believe that some people even wear underwear under their pyjamas, which is also really ludicrous, seriously unhealthy. Just think about all those tight straps and elastic and stuff that's restricting your blood flow to your skin and to your body. And you're in bed. Why do you need underwear under your pyjamas? Crazy. Don't do it. That's the one thing I would say do not do. Talking of getting cold or getting hot, let's talk about air conditioning and heating for number 3. Why, and this is something I've noticed since we've been living in hotter countries particularly, why do we make it ridiculously cold inside our buildings? To the extent that I'm not too bad because I'm a naturally warm person, but Eva will usually take an extra layer with her so that when she goes inside she can put something on because she gets cold. In hot countries, 22, 23 degrees for your air conditioning, Celsius, somewhere around that temperature is fine. It's really comfortable. It's nice and cool compared with the outdoors. Saves you a fortune in energy. It's just, but why then do all these places. Singapore is the worst place I've been for it. Hong Kong is bad. Here is pretty bad too in Romania. Why have your aircon set to 17, 18? It makes no sense. It actually makes you feel uncomfortable to go indoors, despite the fact it's too hot to be outdoors. It's mad. And it's the same way in winter. Why do we heat our houses, our apartments, to crazily hot? Romania is really bad for this. Really bad for this. It's freezing outside in the winter. It does get to below freezing, even in the city, and certainly out in the country. Yeah, we get heavy snow in the mountains. It's a beautiful place in the winter, but it is cold. But you go into a house or an apartment and it's like 35 degrees. And you're like scrabbling as soon as you walk in the door to take off as many layers as you possibly can. If it's freezing outside, again, 22 to 25, warm, comfortably warm, but not uncomfortably warm. And it saves you a fortune. Our issue is that, as in a lot of properties, apartment buildings, particularly in Romania, our heating is central to the building. So all we can do is turn on and off radiators, and it's literally a balancing act. It's like, okay, if I turn this 5 degrees, it will be at the right temperature. But if I turn this 6 degrees, and I'm talking the angle degrees, then it'll be 5 degrees too hot. It is crazy. You know, it's like, if you think of a dial that goes from 1 to 10, 1.2 is the right temperature, 1.3 is too hot. And it's something we battle with every year. Just wasting energy. Now, I can't talk a lot about this because I haven't got a lot, certainly not after I cut it yesterday, but hair. Hair self-cleans. Did you know that? I'm sure you did, if you think about it. Hair will self-clean. The natural oils of your scalp keep your hair clean in the same way that dogs stay clean as long as you don't get them too wet too often. Because dog hair, like human hair, the hair glands, the hair follicles, pass oils down to clean your hair. Now, it takes a bit of time to recover if you've got used to using chemicals on your hair. Typically about 6 weeks. If you've damaged your hair by bleaching it and blow drying it too much and all that kind of stuff, it might take a little bit longer. But after that point, hair self-cleans. Yet, how much money is spent on shampoo and conditioner every year? Millions, billions of dollars probably? Thinking about all the advertising and stuff. Now, I say, I've not got a lot of hair, but there have been times when I have had pretty long hair. I've not used anything other than water on my hair for over a decade, and it's healthy. It's thin. You know, I'm balding. I'm a man in my mid-40s. This happens to some of us, but it's healthy. So why would someone spend money on shampoo and conditioner? Take the time. Let your hair naturally clean itself, and you'll be happier for it, I'm sure. Pause for a drink because I've spoken more than I expected at this point. Okay, this is one for the Christians on that, which hopefully a lot of you are. Our bodies. This is a good question, particularly as I'm here without a shirt on. If we are made in the image of God, which we are, if we believe the book of Genesis, and various other places in Scripture which tells us that we're made in the image of God, how can the human body, in its natural form, be indecent? Now, okay, some people take body modification to the extremes, and at that point you could argue that it is indecent, and I'm not just talking about the odd piercing or tattoo, but I'm sure you've all seen the kind of people I mean. But our bodies, the human body is the most majestic of creations. In the creation story, it was the only thing God described as very good. And in fact, the original word means more than very. It's like very, very, very good, or mondo good, mucho good, whatever word you want to use. It's like, you know, it was very good. It wasn't just good, like the rest of creation. Because God was happy with how we were made. Naked and unashamed. The human body is beautiful. It is. It's pretty diverse. Some of us, maybe we find different bodies more beautiful than others, But if you accept it as beautiful rather than lustfully attractive or something, once you accept that, you start to break free from the twisted views of a secular society that drives people to porn and other unsavoury activities. The church has lost its way here. It really has. The church has adopted the world's philosophy that our human bodies are indecent, rather than God's philosophy that we are made in his image and we should celebrate our innocence. And that's just disturbing. It's sad. It's sad the way that we sexualise our bodies, and we sexualise bodies of children, and we sexualise everything in this world. Sex is good, but sex is a private thing. And we shouldn't need to use human bodies. It just increases lust, it causes unhealthy thoughts. If we look at our bodies the right way, things will be a lot better. Number 6, I'm going to talk about music, because this is partly a music channel, although less so over this summer, I guess. Music is everywhere. I'm sure you notice you can't escape it these days. But the problem is, the more that it is everywhere, the less it is worth. It's completely unsustainable. It really is. No one buys music these days. They stream it. Costs them very little, gives the artist very little. Somebody there is making some money, but it's certainly not the artist. Maybe that goes as well, some way to explain, to talk about the way music is created and the value that artists place on music. I know as someone who's just released a single last month and an album this month, or thereabouts, that maybe I haven't even valued it enough by the amount of publicity I've put into it. But maybe that's why we value the music that was made in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s more than we value the music made today. Because it was more valuable at the time, so more energy was put in, people curated music better. Now, it's great that independent artists are not tied to these megalithic companies that control what music gets out there, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that all the music that's getting put out there now by independent artists is good. And maybe a lot of it is put out early. And maybe I'm guilty of that myself. Maybe if we all valued music better, and the artists that we support were able to value music better, we'd get better music. Time to get controversial. Number 7, swimwear. Serves no purpose, except to draw attention to what it's failing to cover. Just pause for a moment, let that sink in. It really does. It attracts your eye to the unseemly parts that we're trying to hide. But it's unhealthy. Skinny dipping is healthier. Damp clothes attract infection, and the join between skin and fabric, or more often than not synthetic materials, is the place that you get most burned because of the way that the fabric reflects the sun's harmful rays onto your skin. It also, again, serves to reinforce what we were talking about before, that it draws attention to certain bits that should be regarded as natural. We just need to liberate ourselves from thinking that has been unhealthy for so long. All beaches should be clothing optional, because there'll be some people who haven't managed to liberate their mind or their body yet. But for those who have, it should be free. And finally, number 8. I'm sure there's plenty of things here that you may be wanting to comment down below. But let's talk about the other main tenet of this channel, mental health. We all know that it's better to be outside in nature than it is to be sat in front of a screen indoors. So, here's a solution. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and then stop watching this video and get outside and get some fresh air. Take care guys, see you soon.